There we go. We have audio now. Hey, everybody. Thanks for showing up here on a Saturday. Thank you for giving me your evening time away from your daily life, your video games, your family. I appreciate everything. Yeah, so today is going to be an interesting one. It came up in conversation over the last couple of live streams, and I thought that it was time that we actually have a mechanic advisor showdown. There seems to just be a lot of drama between advisors and mechanics and technicians, whatever you're calling your title. I'm just going to be using the term mechanic and technician loosely as the same. I know some people like to differentiate themselves, but we're not going to go into that. That's a can of worms that we're not here to talk about. With mechanics and advisors, it seems that we have expectations that we want the other person to meet, and they're just not made clear across the board. And it causes just a lot of headache and shop drama that nobody wants to put up with. And that's what we're here to kind of go over today. Hopefully, we can give some advice. Hopefully, I can give you some advice that can help you work a better relationship with your mechanic or your advisor. The two of you can come to some equal understanding, and you can start profiting from it, because a team that works together is a team that makes more money. So let's go over see who we got here. We already got three viewers. That's excellent. I got Garage Monkey here. Yeah, thank you. I had I got that from just a basic community page. It was free. New member here, Clarence. How you doing? I think you won some wrenches about a year ago. Arthur, ever since every service advisor should have mechanical experience. That is something that actually used to happen years and years ago. We'll talk more about that, but yeah, back in the 80s and the 90s, it was very routine for a mechanic to retire out of his position and become a technician, or maybe you just had a mechanic who just couldn't wrench anymore for whatever reason, and he transitioned over to the advisor realm. And that kind of did seem to be the way back then. Was if you wanted to work in the parts department, or if you wanted to work in the front office as an advisor, you had to start in the shop in some way, shape, or form, whether you were a lube tech, you were sweeping floors, you were a porter, you were mopping floors. I mean, you had to do some grunt level work so you understood what was going on. And we'll explain how that has caused some changes when we've walked away from that. Oh, okay. Let me get my second mouse going here. How reliable is a 3.6 Pinstar Gen 3? It is as reliable as you maintain it. That is what I'll say about all engines and all manufacturers. I don't like to I make jokes, okay? You'll hear me. Let me get my camera moved here. You'll hear me on JT's channel. I'll rag on him about his Mopar and Chrysler and Jeep and Dodge problems. I'll pick on his PT Cruiser. I do it in love. Honestly, it's when it comes down to owning a vehicle, it comes down to understanding one thing: the best maintenance is preventative maintenance. If you drive a vehicle and you only take it to a shop when you have problems, you will always associate problems with that vehicle. That's it, hands down. It's you have to treat vehicles like it's the heart inside your body. Vehicles in America is the beating heart of your lifestyle. Okay. It gets you to and from work so you can make money. It gets you to and from the grocery store so you can feed yourself, you can feed your family. Okay. You go to the hardware store and you get things to go to fix your house, or maybe just to go out and leisurely cruise, buy things to enjoy your life, to experience joy. So keep that information in reserve when it comes to judging a product. It's if you're just one of those people who say, I changed the engine oil for the last 10 years and I've never had problems. You probably do have problems. It's just that you've never had a routine inspection done to have somebody tell you like you got a leaky strut, you got a busted ball joint. It's owning a vehicle and taking it to express oil changes for its entire life. It's like holding a hand grenade with the pin out. Eventually your hand's going to get tired, it's going to drop and it's going to blow up in your face and it's going to take you with it. Um that's kind of a harsh analogy to say, but I see it too many times with customers. They think that all they have to do is change engine oil and they're gonna do everything else themselves. But in reality, it's hard to find time to do anything for yourself anymore. I mean, I'm not a plumber. I'm not a I'm not a roofer. I don't know how to install a door in my house. I have to rely on other people's trade skills to do that for me. So I budget for it. I've talked about in other live streams where the best way to prepare for budgeting on your vehicle is to try and just put. Uh, Let me start with one of the best ways to prepare for maintenance on your vehicle, to prepare for repairs, or to, in worst case scenario, prepare for just wear and tear on your vehicle. All right, things wear out. Open up another checking account. Okay, keep it separate from your main checking account. I have a separate checking account and I've nicknamed it for my cars. And every check I put $25 in there. So I get paid weekly, so I put $25 in a week. If you get paid every other week, $50. If you get paid monthly, multiply it by 4, so you're putting $200 in that account. That is going to pay for your brakes, that's going to pay for your tires, it's going to pay for your oil changes. And then anything that's left over, you leave it there because eventually they're going to say, "Hey, you have an oil leak and we got to put a new valve cover gasket on." Or you have a loose wheel bearing, or you have a blown ball joint. It's nice to have that money there. And if you get in the habit of doing something as little as 25 bucks, you'll be astounded how much it will collect up. You will have thousands of dollars in there over the course of a couple of years. And if you start that out when you purchase your vehicle new, so if you purchased a brand new vehicle, start doing it then. Because in 5 or 6 years, when you have about 70, 80,000 miles on there and you don't have any more powertrain to get the manufacturer to try and buy something for you, it's nice to know that you have that money in reserve. You feel safer going on road trips. You feel safer going on vacation because you know that you can repair your vehicle, repair that vehicle in an emergency. That's what I'm ultimately leading to, and it's not easy to start. It's not an easy habit to start, but the best way to get started on it is just think about what you spend $25 on weekly. You'd be astonished. Start listing out everything you spend money on. That morning coffee at the coffee shop. Coffee shops are charging what, $3 for a small coffee? And you're buying a small coffee every single day before you go to work? Three times five, that's 15 bucks. Can you make coffee at your house? All right. Can you save some money? Can you not buy lunch one day a week? I mean, shoot, I see the prices of food going up every day, especially at fast food restaurants. Fast food restaurants used to be able to get a lunch for $5. Now I see people spending $10 to $15 on lunches. It's outrageous. The things can get away from you. When you go to fill up for gas, do you really need to get an energy drink? Do you have to get a soda? Can you just every time you think about those onesie twosies, try and match that and put it into that car savings account. Be like, you know what? I want to get my tumbler filled up with some tea at the gas station when I top off my tank. It costs $1.50. All right. I'm gonna get on my phone and I'm gonna put $1.50 in that account. Try and match it one for one. All right. Just be observational about it. Uh, I could beat that up all day. I really could. And I don't want to because it can get depressing to talk about. But go into think about it that way. All right. Well, we have three good members for 20 minutes in. Let's go ahead and set the ground rules for our hey, what's going on, Kevin's Mobile? Hey, we're just gonna have a little fireside chat, see if we can't get some mechanics and some advisors to get along with each other, maybe explain their two positions better. I wasn't an advisor for too long. I actually didn't even hold the title advisor. I just learned really quickly that that wasn't going to be a position for me. I was better off in the stall turning wrenches. Uh, it there is a different skill set that it takes to be a person who deals with people problems, especially with today's customers. The internet, Facebook, Instagram, I mean, all this social media has really changed people's perspective on customer service. It's changed their perspective on how everything is done because the consumer now watches all these fast reel videos of stuff getting done and they go, "Oh my gosh, I just watched a guy do a video on a tire change and it only took him 10 minutes. Why has my car been here for 40 minutes and you haven't even looked at it?" Well, because no one's making upset videos about delays and how there can be complications in a shop. Nobody wants to watch bad videos. They want to watch happy videos. Okay. I'm sure if there was a video of a garage burning down, that might be a happy video to some people and they'll talk about it, but nah. You feel like you're in a dentist office. Ah, well, okay. Let's get things going on with the ground rules. So, with every Saturday show, we do a tool giveaway. We start the tool giveaway halfway through the show. So, uh, this is going to be a short talk unless we get into some conversation, but I'm going to set a timer here for 9:15. And at 9:15, we're going to go ahead. We're going to do the tool giveaway. And in order to be eligible for the tool giveaway, you have to be a member, just like Clarence did. He just signed up to become a member. If you don't know how to become a member, you can go to any one of my videos. Or right now, if you're watching on YouTube, you click that join button. I'm only asking for $1 a month. And I put all that money towards giving you your prizes for watching videos, liking videos, commenting on videos, and showing up here on Saturday. The more members that we get, the better the door prices are going to get. So right now we're sitting at a happy 30 members. I do have an ultimate goal that I want to get this channel up to 1,000 members. And when we do 1,000 members, I'm going to be giving away a toolbox full of tools. The tools are going to have a foam checkout system on it. So you'll know if you're missing a tool right away. It's going to be on wheels. They're going to be in tough boxes. It's a really sweet setup. It's going to have a retail value of 1,300 bucks. I'm going to ship it to your house. Oh, and then all those tools, they're going to have lifetime warranty on them. So, with that said, let me get my screen share set up here. And I'm playing with my third monitor today, so give me a second. There we go. Share screen. Gonna do a window and boom. You're gonna see some craziness right there. Y'all remember that great 80s sitcom show? Who's the boss? That's kind of how I feel sometimes when I'm working with an advisor. Who's the boss? Sometimes the advisor doesn't want to handle the customer and he calls the mechanic out. Hey, can you talk to this guy? He's not making sense. All right, I'm the boss in that situation then. Or I'm going to keep wrenching on a car. I need you to go check in cars, Mr. Advisor. I need you to go get customers to pay their bills so I can get paid. You're the boss. So there's really not uh there really isn't a set dynamic of who's in charge, but I do always default my service advisor as in charge until that advisor says, I need your help, in which case he has to let go of the situation a percentage or all the way and let me handle it. Now, that does that mean I'm going to go bitch out a customer? No, I got to put my customer game face on. I got to wash my hands, wash my face. I got to look clean, look presentable. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. How can I help you? And I have to shut up and I have to listen. If that customer wants to go off on me, they're probably going to get all of about 10 seconds of pulling a Karen before I look at the advisor and say, I don't think I'm the best person for this situation. Maybe you should get a manager. Okay. Use tactful words. So let me get my here's my mouth. There we go. Move it on to our next slide. So first off is what type of shop are you? Now, if you're a mom and pop shop, or if you're just a single owner who maybe has one or two bays, or maybe you're working out of a van, you're probably wearing multiple hats. Okay. You're going to be the manager, you're going to be the service advisor, you're going to be the repair technician, you're going to be the mechanic, you're going to be the cashier, you're going to be the secretary. You're a one man army, one woman army. Okay. You can still take something away from this. All right. You'll pick up some skills on how you can calm yourself down and handle situations better. But ultimately, this is presented in a manner where this is a shop that does have a front office where there's going to be some service advisors. Those service advisors are going to check customers in, they're going to do questionnaires with them, they're going to write work orders, they're going to dispatch tickets. Okay. Now, keep in mind, every shop is going to have some different dynamics. You might have a foreman, you might have a person who just does nothing but dispatch. You might even have two or three service managers. The bigger the shop, the more chiefs you have. That's all it is. I've been in shops where we had 50 service bays. So what did we have? We had three service managers. One was mainly in charge, but two of them were walking the front line. They were making sure that the advisors were getting their work done in a timely manner. And if there was any gaps that they had to fill, they would jump in and do it. They would move cars, they would porter cars, they would find out delays in parts. So they did a lot of behind the scenes information. They really worked for their pay. But yes, ask yourself what type of shop you are. Here we got Shopcat's already chiming in. Welcome, Shopcat. Shopcat, I advise myself, but I don't know what I'm talking about. It's a vicious circle. Yes, it is. Hey, maybe you'll pick up some good customer service skills from this training. Okay. So let's jump into the advisor. I flipped a coin on who I'm going to pick on first. And wouldn't you know, the service advisor came up first. Okay. Now, we already kind of got ahead of ourselves when I started out talking because somebody brought it up. They said all service advisors should have mechanical experience. As a mechanic, as a technician, I agree with you 100%. But we're not going to send a service advisor to a trade skill for a trade he's not going to learn. So that service advisor is going to have to pick up that skill set, that terminology, and that mindset faster than a mechanic would, faster than a technician would. Okay. And I put I put a lot of pressure on new advisors that come in. I let them know, hey, within about 6 months, you have to have your head wrapped around a few things. You need to be able to recite what the basic services on a car is up to 100,000 miles. You need to know how to look up labors and repairs without somebody holding your hand. You need to know how to find out why a part is back ordered by yourself. You should know or have a fundamental understanding of what basic checks are. And a basic check is a check engine light on. Okay. We call those DTCs, diagnostic trouble codes. Customer comes in, says the light is on. You need to be able to give some sort of speech, a sermon, or sorry, I shouldn't say, don't give a speech, don't give a sermon, but give a simple explanation of what's going to happen to the customer's vehicle, i.e., we're going to have a technician bring it in. The first thing he's going to do is a visual multi-point and or safety inspection of your vehicle. Then he's going to grab a scan tool. He's going to do an all scan of your vehicle. That can take anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes, depending on the vehicle. And because some older cars, they can take 15 minutes to do an all scan. I tried to do an all scan on a 2011 VW Bug. It took 30 minutes to scan every single computer. It was ridiculous. And that was with the Snap on Zeus. There was no problems. It's just a really slow network, I guess. And there was only like 3 codes in the entire car. But it changes from manufacturer to manufacturer and from scan tool to scan tool. Some cars are super duper fast at spitting out all the results. Some cars are not. Some cars don't like certain scan tools and they just take a little bit longer. So just let them know that it can take at least 30 minutes to scan all the information and for that technician to just look up and see what those codes are. And then from there, the technician's going to have to read the flow chart and the shop manual to know what that problem is. And then he might have to do another visual inspection of the vehicle in a specific area to determine if there's a problem. And if that doesn't yield any results, he's going to come back to me and he's going to say he's going to have to run another sequence of tests and we're going to need the car for some more time. Ultimately, the customer's probably panicking, going like, oh, more time, what? No, let them know, like, hey, this is all covered under your basic 1 hour diag. We do a scan, we do the we run the troubleshooting steps, and if we have to do anything more intrusive, we'll stop and we'll talk to you and we'll explain to you what those costs will be. A great example is the last video that I just posted up, where a customer had a drivability concern, and I did a scan, and he had codes for the CAN bus, and I told the advisor right away. I said, listen, I says, I'm going to do some basic checks here of the CAN bus with an oscilloscope, and it's going to confirm or deny that we have some problems. But ultimately, we should start preparing the customer for another hour of diagnostics, because in order to do phase 2 diagnostics of a CAN bus concern, I'm going to have to start taking some trim panels off to get to some computer modules. And this thing could go left or right. We might figure it out really fast, or we might have to go more in depth. But ultimately, we need to start letting them know so that way that the customer has the choice to pull the plug and get out of here for their 1 hour diag. And if they want to go somewhere else, kind of getting ahead of myself here. But yes, that advisor, that advisor is going to have to be juggling a lot of things. A mechanic can juggle a lot of things too. It's not unusual for me to juggle 4 cars a day. Uh, an advisor can be juggling 20 customers a day, depending on the size of the shop. And if cars are staying for repetitive days for big repairs like head gaskets, or maybe the car's stuck at the shop because a part was on back order, maybe the wrong part ordered, the advisor has to keep customers up to date. And we'll talk more about those little levels of responsibility that can really cause a lot of anxiety and pitfalls with that position. So, first is your advisor greets a customer. They have to do the check ins. All right. If an advisor is not checking in the customer that they are writing up, something's wrong with the shop. And that's where I see a lot of problems with shops when you have people like porters doing check-ins, or maybe another advisor just does a quick write-up and then hands it off to another advisor. That's where problems start. If you're an advisor and you're listening, you need to talk to your customer every single time, and you need to see the vehicle that comes in. I had a vehicle that came in and it looked like it was totaled out. And when I pulled the Carfax, it was totaled out. But the advisor didn't know because he never saw the car. He was busy with another customer. He was scheduled to have this customer come in. So he didn't get out on the service lane to go see the car, to go greet the customer. The porter had already parked the car. The guy checked in and nothing was said about the damage. So when I'm explaining the problems with the vehicle and I said, "Hey, this is all impact related," the customer goes, "Well, why didn't anybody tell me that up front? I would have just gone back to the body shop." And it makes my advisor look dumb. So get ahead of that, advisors. If you know, don't let those porters park those cars so quick. If you got another customer who's just like making chit chat with you and making small talk, and I know you get paid on surveys and I know you have to have a smile. Don't let that perspective of the customer's always right ruin your day, because honestly, in my mindset, the customer is always wrong. All right. The idea of the customer always right, that mentality came from the 50s. All right. From the manufacturing days when manufacturers were making changes to products. Didn't matter what the product was, like this tumbler, for example. Let's say this OtterBox made this tumbler, and all of a sudden OtterBox decided that they're going to change the lid. And all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, no one's buying our new tumblers anymore." He's like, "They're all going online to Amazon. They're buying the last version." That's what it means. The customer's always right. The customer buys what they want because the customer is speaking with their dollar. But somehow through sitcom media, that that phrase got turned into the customer can be a jerk and the customer can use power over an employee to persuade them into doing something. So what you have to be as an advisor is you have to control the narrative and you have to train that customer on how things are done. Set the example early on so they cannot take the power away from you. Karens are really difficult to deal with. Okay. So during the time of your check-in, you're making your greeting, you're looking at the vehicle, you're asking the customer what they're here for, ask them that they have an appointment. If it's a routine customer, congratulate them on coming them back, give them a warm welcome meeting. If it's a new customer, welcome them to the shop and let them know that like, hey, we're going to take a little extra time. I got to get some information from you. And then I need to find out if you've been to any other service centers so we can catch up with all, so we can make sure that we don't over recommend things for you. That's a big thing that I see that gets missed during a new customer checking in. They're coming from out of town, or maybe they move to a new area. Hey, welcome on in. Welcome into Joe's car shop. You're new here. Have you been taking your car somewhere else? Oh, yes, I have. And do you know what you've been getting done there? Well, no, not nothing really. If you don't mind, I'd like to pull a Carfax on your vehicle. And if they were a Carfax rated shop, they would have listed everything that your car got checked in for. But if you don't mind getting that information for me, I can have them fax over their information and I can review it and see if there's any gaps in your maintenance. Folks, that takes like a few seconds. If they know the name of that shop or they know where it was, it's not going to take that long to call them up and say, "Hey, can you fax over what you've done to this car? The customer's at my shop now." Most shops will do that. It's just something that we have to do to help each other out. It's one of those pay it forward things. It might take a it might take them a couple hours to do it, or they may not get it in a day, but telling the customer that, I'm going to make that effort to get that information, it does show good trust. It already builds a good relationship with that customer that you're attempting to do something. If they don't give it to you within an hour, or if they don't give it to you by the end of the visit, at least let the customer know, like, hey, we reached out, we gave them another ring. Looks like they're busy and they didn't get it to us. So here's my fax number. If you can give them another call and have them send it over on your behalf, that would be great. I'd like to have that information here so we can better serve you. Advisors are also going to be the bearer of good news and the bearer of bad news. Okay. Good news is, hey, nothing's wrong with your car. We just did an oil change today. We did a tire rotation. Everything's fantastic. You're not going to need any major preventative maintenance on your vehicle for 30,000 miles. Okay. Oh, by the way, I just want to give you a pre-estimate of what that is. All right. It might be a tune-up. Okay. The car's at 70,000 miles and needs plugs at 100,000 miles. Just want to let you know, this is a labor intensive job. It takes 6 hours to get done because you drive a Maserati. So I don't want any sticker shock there. You plant that seed in their mind, they get prepared for it. So when they do show up in 30,000 miles, they're ready. They're like, hey, man, I'm here for that tune up you've been telling me about. I'm excited. And oh, by the way, you know, I read about that top engine cleaner. That was some good information that you told me about. I was watching some videos on it. And yeah, I think it's worth it. So let's do a top engine cleaner. Let's do a tune up and change that coolant out. Okay. I call it the Hank Hill approach. If anybody has ever been a fan of King of the Hill, there's always a running joke with Hank always wanting to educate his customers at the propane shop. Okay, everyone else, all the other sales agents, they're just pushing belligerent hard sales. Buy now, buy now. You worry about it later. And Hank's like, no, 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 cool your jets. I want you to take 5 minutes and learn something here. I want you to understand your investment, what you're buying. And all of a sudden, that person comes back and says, yeah, I want to buy it. And three other people I was talking up about it, they said they want to buy a barbecue grill from you too. So, as an advisor, it's all about planting seeds. Let's check in with chat here because it is getting crazy up in here. Hey, that mouse cursor ain't going to work. Oh, we got. I had to make a customer cry today. Oh, boo. They have a blown 6.4 diesel and they just bought it for 15K without a pre-per. Ooh. Buying used diesels is tough. I mean, people use and abuse those things to death. And, the saying of, diesels run forever with these late model diesels, not so true anymore. Maybe the old 80s and the 90s ones that don't have this cancerous fluid called DEF in them run a lot better. But ultimately, you're making a big vehicle purchase. I always encourage you, treat it like buying a house. Okay. If anybody in chat has bought a house, what like what does your realtor say you have to do at a minimum? They say you have to get an inspector to at least go into the attic, check the pipes, just do a visual inspection. It costs anywhere between $100 to $200 depending on where you live. If you want to, then they'll make recommendations. The inspector might say, "Hey, I took my ground outlet tester to all the wall outlets in the top in the house. Couple of them, they don't have grounds on them. I think you should hire an electrician to check this out. Make sure the wiring's good." All right. Then that homeowner inspection says, "Hey, I see that we've had some new sinks in, and I don't see a lot of plumber tape. Or if you guys know what plumber tape is, that's what goes between all the fittings so that they don't leak." I say like, looks like it was kind of a DIY job that went south. Okay, you might want to have a plumber come through the house and check things out. Okay, so when purchasing a house, it's not abnormal to spend four, five, $600 to have somebody go through the house and make sure everything's good. And it gets even more crazy depending on where you're getting the house. All right. My dad bought a house out in the country. He has to have a well. So what did he get? He got a well inspector. He wanted to make sure the well was good. Okay, that cost him $250. Other people, they're buying land and it's next to some industrial areas. There's a service road that cuts through it. So he gets soil samples done to make sure that there was no dumping done. We could talk about house inspections for days, but we're just talking about cars. But think about that when you're making a big purchase like that. You could protect your $15,000 investment that was mentioned there by just taking it to a shop and saying, "Hey, can I buy an hour of your time and can you shake this car down?" And if it was a diesel, then we all know that people like to let those things idle. I would have gotten a some sort of relative compression test or just a basic compression test. Be like, "Hey, check this car out. Take it to a diesel shop. Take it to a diesel shop and have them do a once over." Diesel techs know what they're looking for. I tell people to think of their car as an employee. You pay it a wage for every day it gets you to and from work. That's great. That's a great analogy. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, it's your car's an employee, and if you treat that employee like crap, they're going to do crap work for you, and they're going to make your life miserable. And that car inspection thing that goes for used car lots too. I'm not here to mm, talk bad about used car lots. Again, that's a different topic. But used car lots, when they do vehicle inspections, they're only doing the bare minimum because they want to make a profit off that car. The car got traded in. They make sure it can pass a state inspection, a safety inspection, and that's it. All right. If you're going in there with the intentions of thinking, like, oh, they're going to fix everything on this car and there's going to be no problems. No, you're wrong. I've bought and used cars and I've driven them 5 miles down the road after I test drove it and the check engine light came on. And what did that used car shop say? Yeah, well, you bought it as is. That sucks. Okay. I was stuck with that repair. By the way, they ended up being a P0420. Thankfully, it just had a cracked exhaust. So a little patch weld there, and that problem went away. So, yeah, the last point, just talking about advisors, I want to talk about what advisors were and what advisors are now. So, I mentioned it. This is the third time I'm mentioning it. In the heyday, in the 80s and the 90s, advisors had some sort of mechanical experience. Okay. Or they were in the realm of it, they were experienced with it. They may not know everything about it, but they kind of had a grasp. Today's service advisors, they're burger flippers, they're salesmen from Best Buy. Okay. They know how to sell warranty, they know how to sell uh, BG top engine cleaners. All right. They're a liaison between you and a customer. That is what we have right now. And I'm seeing little and little, less and less more effort coming from on top to push advisors into the knowledgeable realm. So, as a mechanic, I have to take advisors on the side and I have to let them know where they're weak in an area. And I don't be a jerk about it. Give them some lead on information. I asked one where I said, "Hey, can I trade phone numbers with you?" There's some really good short YouTube videos, and I was referencing Eric the Car Guy. So I'm going to send you 6 videos. One is a guy doing a compression test. One, he's doing an AC service. Another one, he's doing a coolant flush. I'd, I'd like you to have that mental information in reserve. And he was cool with that. He was really appreciative that I gave him those videos, and he actually watched them over the course of the week, and he asked for more. He says, "Hey, if you have any more of those, I'd like to see them." And he eventually built up enough of a YouTube uh, interest in it that YouTube was starting to throw repair videos at him, and he was watching them on his lunch break, and he became a very good, successful advisor. But that's how you have to start it. Give them something small, give them some YouTube shorts, and work them up from there. Don't give them a big 2-hour video. Be like, "Hey, here's Baja Joe's 2-hour engine teardown rebuild." That dude ain't gonna watch it. All right. But if you send them some shorts of like, hey, here's Baja Joe doing a tire patch. Here's Baja Joe doing a battery test. Spark that interest. They'll get there. They'll get there. But we have to hand out that olive branch and of good faith. And just because you got burned on one advisor because he didn't want to do that doesn't mean the next one's not going to do it. We got to start fresh every single time. That was a hard lesson for me. I let one advisor burn me so bad that I treated all advisors like asses. I was a complete dick to them for about 5 straight years. And who did it hurt? It hurt me. That's all it did. It hurt me because all of a sudden they were like, I don't want to work with Joe, so I'm not going to dispatch good work to Joe. And all Joe got was check engine lights. Joe didn't get gravy or services. So there's double edged swords everywhere. Hey, let's go to the next one. You're an advisor. You got to move fast. If you don't know how to frickin' type, you're in trouble. Learn to type. Go get a typing game. My favorite typing game is Type of the Dead. It's that old arcade shooter game where it was called House of the Dead, but now you get a keyboard. So get good at typing. Also, is if you have a repeating concern coming in or a repeating work order line that you're writing up, a lot of these systems that you use to make work orders, they allow you to save statements. Okay. And if yours doesn't have it, then just open up a WordPad. Google Docs is free and start plugging those in there, and you can just copy and paste them over. Okay. Find ways to be proficient. When you write that ticket up, make sure you highlight the check in time of when that customer got here. And then right on there, I always tell my advisors, hey, at the upper right hand corner, I want you to write the time that you need somebody to get back to you at the least, like with a multi point or an answer what's going on. Obviously, if it's a car coming in with two concerns and a diag line, you might say, 2 hours. All right, give me an update at this time. Highlight it. Make sure that person knows. Make sure it stands out and it's easily viewed. Then you have to do the next step for yourself as an advisor. If you have an update time that you're asking for on a ticket, you need to get your little scratch pad out and you need to say RO 12345 at time. I need to go find out where that ticket's at. Okay. If you got a progress report before the timer goes off, fine, scratch it out. You got your progress report. If you didn't, all right, tell your foreman, tell whoever's dispatching, or maybe you got to walk out from behind the desk and go find the person who has the ticket and say, hi, uh, can I have an update? Try not to be a dick about it. It's very easy. You're frustrated. You got another customer waiting to leave. You got another customer that needs to check in. Don't burden that person with all that. You don't know what's been going on. Give them the benefit of the doubt and just kind of let them know, hey, I got RO12345. How close are you to getting me an update on this? That's it. Because that's the answer you want. So just say what you want. If you say you need it now, they're not going to give it to you now. But if you say, like, how close are you to getting done? They might be like 5 seconds away from hitting send. So keep that in perspective there. If the person needs more time because they got stuck on another car, maybe it took too long to get the last one out, and they're like, accept it. Just accept it. If they say, I had to do this before too, I say, I'm very sorry. That last one, I put the tire on backwards. It's a directional tire. I wasn't paying attention, so I had to take the tire off. I had to take the tire back off the car, take it to the tire pit. There was someone ahead of me. I lost 20 minutes. I'm sorry. I should have came and told you. I'm sorry. All right. Take the apology. Go let the customer know. Okay. You don't have to tell the customer that, hey, the tech screwed up on another car and that's why I don't have it out there. Just let them know, like, hey, I went and I talked with the tech. He says that he's still finishing up the paperwork on it. We have a slow computer system. I'm so sorry for this. I'll come back to you in the next 10 minutes. Is that okay? Great. Always give the customer a chance to acknowledge it. Don't walk away and say, I'll get back to you in 10 and walk away. No, let them acknowledge what you said. Can can I come back to you in 10 minutes? Is that okay with you? They nod their head. Yeah, that's cool. Hey, thanks for talking to me. Hey, are you comfortable? Because we got free coffee and free snacks. I see we're out of the Rice Krispie treats. You want a Rice Krispie treat? You could be their hero that day. Maybe they love Rice Krispie treats. Stuff like that happens. Okay. So, all right. Moving on to the next highlighted part. Be detailed about your concerns. I know some customers, they can just rattle off what a concern is, and you'd be like, oh my gosh, this person's going like a mile a minute. All right. If they're going a mile a minute, I'm not saying you need to type 50 miles an hour, but you're going to have to find a way to politely stop that customer and be like, let me, that sounds like you have two things going on. Let me go ahead and finish up this first concern. I'm going to open up another line so that my technician knows that you have two separate concerns. And they'll go like, oh, it doesn't sound like I have two concerns. He's like, well, the way you explain it, I think it would be better if I broke it up into two lines on the work order. Okay. And I'll let the technician determine if they're the same thing. If you do upsell something on the service drive when the customer checks in, let them know how long it's going to take. I know some people in a shop, they can really bang out the work, okay? Especially if it's gravy, tune-ups. Like when we're talking about gravy, we're talking about all those flushes, we're talking about the BG stuff, tune-ups. That some people are really good at that and they can get the work out really, really fast, especially the young guys. They got backs ready to break in. I'm not that guy anymore. All right. I can't do 10 hours of work in 3 hours. And it took a couple of times for the advisors to really understand, oh, it's going to Joe. Oh, I shouldn't have told that customer we would have it done before lunch because Joe's probably going to get it done at 3. Shoot, I look like an idiot. Under promise, over deliver is the motto that you need to have at all times. If you sell 9 labor hours worth of work, tell the customer, hey, this is a 9 labor hour job. I'd like to just say it's going to be around 10. That gives the technician time to stop for lunch and take a break. Is that going to be okay with you? Looks like it might be better if I get you into a loaner so you can just go home, be about your business, and pick your vehicle up tomorrow. Or if you don't have a loaner fleet, hopefully your shop has something set up with Lyft or Uber. We have an enterprise account where we get really big discounts. Okay. So we'll just tell customers, hey, thanks for coming by. Or like here, blah, blah, blah. I should stop talking too fast. Customer comes in the morning, goes in with one concern, comes out with 5 other concerns because there's recommendations of some visual things they found. Customers interested in getting the repairs, and they go, "Oh man, I was just hoping to get an oil change and go to work." You know what? I'll get you an Uber to work. Okay. And what time you off work? You're off work at 5. Okay. Give me a call at 4:30. I'll set you up with an Uber to pick you up at 5 and bring you here. You can get your car, all free of charge. I won't charge you for it. That's what your enterprise account is for. Okay. Make it convenient for the customer to drop their vehicle off at the shop so they can go to work and they can make money so they can pay you. If they want to go home, send them home. Shit, folks. I've bought movie tickets for a customer once. Okay. They were really interested in a big sell, and there's a big movie theater about 5 miles from the shop. And I was just like, Spider-Man 2's out. And do you guys seen it yet? Like, no. Oh, there's a really cool shopping center there. There's some good snacks and eateries. You know, I straight up lied. I says, We get a thing with them. They give us movie tickets every once in a while. Let me check and see if we still have some left." I'm like, "How's you guys want to go to a 1 o'clock matinee?" You're like, "Yeah, okay, I got two matinee tickets." Folks, that cost me $7 a ticket, and it was two people. I got rid of those people all day. That's it sucked. It was like, "Hey, that was $14 of your money, Joe." Yeah, but you know what? The manager actually saw that and he's like, "I'll buy you lunch, man. That was actually a pretty slick move and you made me a ton of money." So, yeah. Lastly, is set a reminder to check the progress of your inspection. We went over that, all right? Keep track of your work orders. You're going to have to keep a logbook of what you check in and what you check out. All right. You might actually have to make time to go talk to your technician and find out because his notes may not transcribe correctly. You might need to get an explanation from him so you can explain it to the customer. Obviously, obviously, if this is the third time a mechanic or a technician is making a recommendation for a service and you can't get it through your head, folks, you got to write that stuff down. Okay. That's when the bad drama starts. Okay. It's because in the mechanic world, we have a thing called the rule of three. If you ask something three times, if you borrow something three times, you're on your own. Okay. That's it. Because, like, we're going to show you how to do it, and then we're going to help you how to do it, and then we're going to expect you to do it on your own. Because that's how fast you have to learn it in our area. So if that is as an advisor, if that's your weakness is remembering things, you better start writing some stuff down. Okay. And if you can't write stuff down, then you need to like turn on the tape recorder on your cell phone and tell the technician, "Hey, speak into the mic so I can remember this." Help yourself. Lastly, is keep your customers up to date. That goes back to my other statement that I said, under promise, over deliver. Okay. Always leave time for your mechanic to breathe. Okay. Our shops are hot, they're sweaty, they're humid. We get uncomfortable. And if the environment is getting more uncomfortable, you can guarantee your mechanic is working slower. All right. AC shops, mechanics pump out more work. Studies have shown it. So here in my area of Texas, some days we get some nasty humid days, and our advisors are already pre-warned, and they know, oh great, here comes the humidity. Everything's going to take an extra 30 minutes. Like they're just already telling customers it's going to take longer. Why? Because these mechanics were taking more water breaks, we're taking more smoke breaks, we're taking more AC breaks. Okay, they start hanging around the parts counter taking breaks. Uh, Another important thing about keeping customers up to date, if a car comes into a shop and the customer buys a repair and you say, "Hey, the part's 2 days out," and you put them in a loaner, or they say they're going to drive their other car, even though you told them that part's 2 days out, still give them a daily reminder. A lot of these new shops, or a lot of shops now have adopted a text messaging service. Send them a text. Be like, "Here's your daily update, letting you know as I check the progress on your part, it's still on track to show up Wednesday." Okay, great. Customer's happy. On that note of a part coming in, if you got a car that comes in on a Monday, you got a part that's 2 days out. The customer goes, "Okay, the part's going to be in Wednesday." Take that idea out of their head and burn it. I'm dead serious. Burn it. Let them know. Be like, "Hey, we got a part that's 2 days out, and it's going to show up on Wednesday." Sometimes they show up in the morning, the afternoon. We're not too sure. We can't tell until like the day before. But what I'm going to do for you is on Thursday, I'm scheduling a block of time for that technician to work on your vehicle. So the part comes in sometime Wednesday, but I'm guaranteeing you a 7 a.m. time slot. Your tech's going to work on it. Under promise, over deliver. If that part showed up on a Wednesday morning and your technician found a way to knock out the work, great. You give them a call after lunch on a Wednesday and say, "Hey, good news. Hey, that part showed up super early. We had some free time. He went ahead and he got ahead of schedule. He knocked it out. You want to pick it up this afternoon or you want to pick it up Thursday as scheduled?" Balls in their court. Let them decide. They keep the car for an extra day and they use your loaner, so be it. But you got it done on time and you kept your customer informed. There are times where parts are going to be on what's called back order, and back order can be like 2, 3 weeks. Sometimes the car has to stay at the shop. It's uncontrollable situation. It could be a recall, it could be a safety concern. Um, and that customer is going to be chewing up your loaner. Even in those situations, I still give a daily update to the point to where the customer says, "Stop telling me this. It's been 10 days. I know." All right, that's cool. Is it all right if I just give you another reminder on Friday just to stay in contact, make sure everything's okay? Yeah, sure, that's okay. But even if they blow you off, still stay in some communication, because the worst thing that happens is the customer comes in, they finally get their car after it's been in the shop for 2 weeks because of a back ordered part. And then what's the first thing they do? They yell at the manager and they were like, "This guy never stayed in contact with me. The car's been here for almost 3 weeks." And then the manager goes like, "Really? Is that so?" And they're not going to accept the defense of, "Well, they told me to stop talking to him." Manager don't give two shits about that. You stay in contact with your customer. All right? Be nice about it. All right. Lastly, is control the situation. This will be the last advisor one here, and then we'll get straight to mechanics. This is called letting customers rot in the lobby. You're going to get those people who just absolutely refuse. They're going to be like, "Oh, yeah, I work from home. I brought my laptop. I'm going to do some stuff here." Still find a way to get rid of them. I've had customers that wanted to wait 8 hours for their car. Absolutely ridiculous. Because what's that customer going to do all day? They're going to be watching other people leave happily with their cars. And they're going to go like this: "I'm hungry. I don't have a car. I can't go get food. Their vending machine is full of honey buns. That sucks. I want something healthy." Find a way to get rid of them. One tactic that's worked really good for me is I just set an alarm on the phone that says, "Go bug the customer." And every hour I just check in, shake their hand, and be like, "You okay? We still have an Uber ride home if you want it, okay?" After about the third time, they kind of shut their laptop and they go, "Yeah, I want to get out of here. It's not a good idea to be here." Or if they want to stay, and if they're one of those people like, "I want to do some homework, I want to do some of this, or do some of that," be like, it's like, I can get you to a library, or I can get you to a food court or a Starbucks. At least you're getting them out of there, and then they can go where there's coffee and food, and they can lose themselves. A lot of people don't realize how nice libraries are. They got some really comfy lounge areas, and they're super quiet. But the moral the point of this conversation, the point of this slide is get them out of the shop. Okay. If they're going to be there more than 2 hours, get rid of them. That's your mission. Find a way to manipulate them out of the shop, because those are the people who are going to write the worst reviews, because they're just sitting there thinking negative thoughts. All right. Mechanics. All right. Let's check up in chat, see what we got going in chat. You guys been having a talk. There's our diesel conversation. Hey, Felicia, how you doing? No problems. Glad you're here. Hey, how we doing? Everyone's saying hi to each other. I'm glad you all know each other. That's really good to know. You know what? This might actually be a good time. Let's go ahead and do our tool giveaway, because I did say I was going to cap it halfway through. So let's get on over to the spin the wheel. All right. So while I am getting the next thing loaded up to spin the wheel, if you have not said anything in chat, please say hi in chat, because only people who are members and who are currently in the stream right now, we have 10 people watching. Let me know you're here because I'm going to be putting those names in. If you are idling in the background and not talking and you are a member, I can't, I don't know that. I can't see it. So that's why I need you to just say hi in chat. I mean, there's some new stuff out too. Spin the wheel. All right, you got to have green on your name. So Shannon Dickinson, thanks for stopping by. Not a member. I can't add you until you become a member or somebody gifts out some memberships. I'm going to work my way from the bottom. We got Garage Monkey. He's always here. And Mr. Canadian Diesel. My brain's shutting down right now. Felicia's here. Midwest is here. Got Starstruck. What else we got? Checking. All right. Kevin's mobile's out. Shopcat, not a member. Hands-on mechanical. Nope, not a member. Can't add you. Sorry. Clarence, there you are. He just became a member today. Right, glad to have you aboard. I remember he won $100 wrench set last year. Glad to have you back, sir. Lost my mouse cursor. Where'd it go? There it is. That's it. Okay. Let me get the screen up now. Present. Share screen. Just share the window. That way I can switch. All right, let's look at what we got going on today. Tecton came out with a new bit set. I want to show off that big toolbox though. This right here. 239 piece toolbox set. This is what I want to be giving away with the 1,000 member membership drive. We hit 1,000 members. We're gonna do a giveaway on this, and this is some high tech plastic. This ain't cheap Harbor Freight stuff, guys. I've gotten to see this tough tote system, and it is slick. These drawers right here, these black drawers, they're individual toolboxes. So you pull them out, they got lids on them. So you can hold them sideways like a briefcase and take them wherever you want. So this is great for somebody who's got a tight garage space, somebody who's got an apartment, right? Doesn't take up a whole lot of room. You got a tool checkout system with this blow foam or with this foam system here. So you can tell when you're missing a piece, you didn't put something back. All this stuff is lifetime warranty. You got a problem? Tecton has a really fast warranty rate or really fast warranty system. All they ask for is just a picture of it and they send you a new part the next day. It's very rare that they ask for the tool back. I think the only time they asked for a tool back was somebody bought a or somebody broke one of their clicking torque wrenches. They asked for that back. They were curious. Oh, Ray, you are lucky. I can add you. Glad you guys are. If you haven't, I'm going to keep talking until I spin that wheel. All right. So today, we're going to be doing the mini pry bar set. And if you're a repeat winner, Then I'll give you the option for the hook and pick set. These are some stout stuff, folks. Great anodized hard handles. All this stuff is made in the United States. I am giving you United States tools here. These plastic hard handles, they are super comfortable and they are very, very resistant to all the chemicals in the shop. As a test of how good they are, I put one tool in a quart of ATF and I put the other one in gasoline. It didn't damage it at all. This stuff is really, really good. And if the handle does get a little bit of a nick or a burr in it, you can just take the edge of like a smooth piece of metal and you can just smooth it back out. That's what I really like about it. Okay, last chance. 3, 2, 1, and we're going. Oh, so close. Clarence! Clarence, if you're still here, let me know you are in the chat, sir. Okay? Let Oh, he's here. He's here. All right, Clarence, fantastic. Thank you very much. Send me an email, please. I need your address, and I will send these straight from Tecton's website. They'll go right to your house. I will give you the option of the 4-piece pry bar set. I like the pry bar set. It's nice because you're getting 2 skinny ones and 2 big fat ones, and you can really put some leverage on them. Very, very nice. Each one comes with a different angle set on there. Additionally, this pick set here is super, super sharp. I mean, just taking them out of the box, I was bleeding already. But I do like this pick set. They're very easy to cradle in the hands. You can manipulate them very, very well. So you can just let me know in email what you are interested in. I get my banner off there and let us get to work. Yes, it sounds like a nightclub. Yeah, yeah. Well, it's at least it kind of gives everybody time to be like, oh, I gotta say something. All right, so let's finish this up. Let's finish this up. Present slide. Nope, not slides. Present share screen. Oh, I see what I did wrong. There's my mouse cursor. I got 3 monitors going now, so I'm losing my mouse cursor a lot. Okay, present, and we're going to share the screen. Let's get this over with. Let's yell at some mechanics now. The other part of the problem. Okay, mechanics. I get it. I get it. There's a lot of stress on us to know things, to buy tools. You got to get training, you got to get tool debt. And you're like, man, that advisor makes just as much money as me, if not more money than me. Don't go down that road. Don't think negative thoughts. Okay. Use your advisor like a tool. Okay. That's what you need to do. Your advisor is a tool in your toolbox, it is part of your arsenal. Your advisor is giving you the advantage to bring a car in the bay, to work undisturbed without a customer, do your multi point, or do whatever the service is, make recommendations, get those recommendations out, get that multi point done, give them the paperwork they need so you can get to the next car. My routine in the morning is I can grab about 4 to 5 cars before I take my lunch. And now I've set up all my work in the afternoon. Okay. I'm grabbing cars that are just got an oil change on them. Dispatch comes in, like, hey, I got an oil change rotate, Joe. You want it? And I'm like, yeah, I'll take it. Not a problem. I'll make recommendations. I get the work. I get my multi-point done. We use a video inspection system, so I give them a little quick video of some things that I found on their car, and I'll tell the customer hey, you're doing a really good job. Car's only 2 years old, 30,000 miles, but still, speak positives. Hey, you're doing really good. You're doing really good. I want to keep you on this positive track, sir. We have a preventative maintenance service. It's called changing your differential fluid. We recommend it every 30,000 miles. I'm going to make a recommendation, and your advisor is going to talk to you more about that. Okay. I move on with my life. I did my oil change, I did my rotate, and I got my upsell submitted. Send the car out to the car wash. I grab the next ticket and I go. And about 30 minutes later, that advisor is going to say, hey, Joe, hey, I sold that differential fluid change. Okay, great. Hey, I'm going to finish up this multi-point really quick, Mr. Advisor. Good job on that sale. Always congratulate your advisors, no matter how much you feel about them. All right. If you got negative thoughts about an advisor, you still have to keep them in good spirits because they have to go back out there and talk to customers who either like them or they don't. So give them a fist bump, say, good sale. Can you buy me 20 minutes? I just put this car up to do an inspection. And they'll be like, yeah, I got you, bro. All right. Keep them psyched up. So I get the car up, I do my inspection, I get another recommendation list going up, back it out really quick, run out to the parking lot, grab it, do that differential fluid change. Differential fluids change. Mechanics, what do they take? Like 5, 10 minutes? You probably spend more time finishing paperwork than you do actually doing that, right? So there you go. Think smarter, not harder. You're leveraging your advisor. You're getting him more recommendations. So all that advisor can do is sell, sell, sell. Give them congratulations on doing their job. If you have an advisor who has a weak spot, if they have a blind spot on trying to sell something, make sure they understand what they're selling, especially if it's something that the vehicle needs, like a ball joint or an alignment. Okay. You might have to uh, pull that advisor aside, like after work, and just be like, hey, like, can I show you something on the alignment machine? I want to go through a pitch with you because I've noticed that I've never been able to sell an alignment with you. I want to make sure you understand what an alignment is. Find a nice kind of bro way or sister love way to talk with them. If they blow you off and they say, "Nah, I gotta go somewhere," still leave an opening. Be like, "Hey, like I really, really want to just spend 5 minutes talking about this. Maybe tomorrow." Okay. Keep planting that seed. That's all you can really do is plan that thought and let them know. I had one. He didn't know how to sell alignments because he didn't understand what an alignment machine was until I finally came up with a clever idea. And I was like, hey, Bobby, how about I do an alignment on your car and you watch? He's like, what? I says, hey, after work today, you bring your car in free of charge. I'm going to do an alignment, but in return, you're going to watch and I'm going to teach you something. And it took me 15 minutes to do an alignment. And next thing you know, that dude sold an alignment the next day because he saw what had to be done. So you're going to have to find those things. You're going to have to be the big brother in the situation and just give some encouragement. It sucks. You think that the front office would take care of the advisors more, but unfortunately, these shops, they're trying to do more with less. So we got to stop hogging the information and we got to start sharing the information. And by me taking the 20, 30 minutes to do that free alignment for that advisor, that got me hours and hours and hours of upsells. And that guy loves me now because what I do, I did a free alignment, but now he can sell alignments. I'm not going to do head gaskets for him. Hell no. But he started coming back and asking things. And then I started the YouTube plug. I started being like, hey, like I've highlighted some playlists. I'll send you a playlist. Watch them on your lunch break, man. You'll learn something. They're all 60-second videos. You'll love them. Things like that. Get them excited. But obviously, we got a hard position. I will acknowledge it. We're working in the heat, we're working in the humidity. Fans are loud. The guy next to us is idling a diesel without ventilating anything. So you're getting kind of nauseous. You're like, oh, I missed my cigarette break. I didn't get my cup of coffee. Yeah, we got some sucky situations. I mean, for me, it's always my knees and my back hurt, man. So I got to take breaks and make sure that I do my stretches. But build a routine, build a system, and look out for the advisor. Give them all the ammunition that they need to make a successful sell and keep them behind the desk. If they got to keep coming back and asking for information or checking on you, that's time that they're not selling and they're getting frustrated. If you have tickets, all right, if you got cars that you're repairing and these cars are going to take 2, 3 days to get done, give the advisor an update. Okay, even if they don't ask for it, be upfront with it. Just be like walking out, be like, "Hey, Bobby, that we sold those head gaskets." He's, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." Let the customer know I pulled the engine out and I verified we have all the correct parts. I'm gonna start tearing it down tomorrow. Looks like we're still on track for a Friday pickup. Okay, all right. Hopefully, Bobby talks to his customer, but I spoke with Bobby. Okay, the negative perceptions of mechanics. All right. We love our white space. White space is idle time in between jobs. All right. You get on your phone, you smoke your cigarette, you lean up against the wall, you start talking with the guys, the gals, you're making small talk. I'm just gonna say it like it is. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm saying perception is everything, especially if you got one of those managers that's always looking around to see who's standing around not wrenching. Here's the way around it. If you need a break, you tell your wingman next to you, "Hey, Billy, I'm all caught up. I'm going to take 5. If anybody comes looking for me, I'm in the break room." Or, "Hey, I'm out behind the building. I'm taking a smoke. I'll be back in 10 minutes." Okay. Or, "Hey, Billy, I got to take a phone call. I'll be back in 10 minutes. Anybody comes looking for me." You know what? Sometimes because I have my own computer station, I just got like one of those little cheap little Walmart dry erase boards. And I'll just write a message on there and be like, "Hey, like, I'll be back in 15, taking a break." Do people draw dicks on it? Yeah, they do because they're fucking dumbasses. But it gives me a more respectful position in the shop that I'm showing time management. I still get to do what I want. I still get to work at my own pace, but I am presenting a presentation of an orderly manner. And people leave me alone. They don't go prying eyes. I worked in a shop where I swear if you were sitting down on a cell phone, that manager would walk up and be like, "Oh, you're playing the Candy Crush, huh? Yeah, go home." He was a dick. He was poison for the shop because he had that mentality. And you know what? No mechanic got it through their head that they shouldn't be sitting down and being like be dorking with their phone or something like that. It's I wanted to play Candy Crush, and what did I do? I left my little note. I went to the break room. I played Candy Crush for 30 minutes and I look out the break room door. Oh, there's no tickets. But I'm in the break room taking a break. So if so when the mean manager came by, he just all he could tell me was be like, "Hey Joe, you've been in here for like 20 minutes." Like, "Oh yeah, I'm taking an AC break. I lost track of time. So comfy in here, you know. Wish I had it outside." Never got sent home. Uh if you make an upsell, guys, and you the advisor asks you like, "Hey, like, it's like, can you get this done before 3 o'clock?" You're like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." About halfway through, you should be able to know if you can meet that deadline or not. And that's when I'll give the advisor the update. Like, "Hey, man, like we're halfway through. I'm gonna need another hour." Okay, let's get the word out because the last thing you want to do is tell the customer 5 minutes to three. Oh yeah, my tech needs 2 more hours. Or, "Hey, this car is going to be here overnight." Don't set up the advisor for a bad situation like that, okay? It's like volleyball. If you want to do a spike, you got to have a setter. Somebody has to set the ball so somebody could run up to the net, spike it down, and score one for the team. You can't spike the ball yourself because you can't double bounce it, right? You need somebody to help you out. So, communication, being open, using your time wisely. You got to take breaks between tickets. Take breaks between tickets. Make them reasonable. Um, a lot of it's hard for a lot of the youth to build a good work ethic and really understand the whole working at your own pace. I have some people when they come in, they think they can take an hour to do an oil change. You know, they get the car up, check their Facebook, throw loosen the drain plug, send a text message, reply, funny, drop tire. They don't understand. Okay. I already said it before. If you need a break, just tell somebody, man. We all need breaks. They know the shop sucks. But the worst thing is for somebody to come looking for you, like an advisor or a manager, and nobody know where you're at. Now that person's like, oh, like I gotta go find Joe. I don't know where Joe's at. Joe's not picking up his phone. No, because Joe left his phone at work. Uh yeah, this is talking to each other, guys. Let everybody know what's going on. Fill in the gaps. You know, I was gonna make a thing about a foreman here, but I realized not every shop has a foreman, and I think foreman is a dying position. I think the only time a foreman might still exist if you have like a fleet shop. I think the whole days of the foreman is dead. Shops just don't want foremans anymore. All right. This is a coordination. So at the end of the day, towards the last 2 hours of the day, the one thing the advisor's really focused on doing is getting the cars out of the shop. Okay. Cars got dropped off in the morning. They made upsells. Now they're getting all picked up. The last thing this advisor needs is to get sent off track because if customers aren't paying their bills, technicians are not getting paid. He needs his time. She needs her time to get it done. So if you were sitting on something for a couple hours and you didn't get that information to them appropriately, you're probably not going to get this individual's undivided attention because this person's trying to tell people they need to come get their car, they need to pay their bill. Maybe he's trying to do end of day updates if they learned something from the beginning of this presentation. Advisors, give updates at the end of the day. Let your customers know if their car's staying at the shop. Just let them know. Be like, and that's what text messages are great about. You don't have to call them. You can do text messages from your computers now, right? Just start sending them out. Hey, here's a progress report. Here's an update. We're right on track. Got any questions? Send me a reply. Peace. Last thing for advisors, end of day. You got a car that isn't getting done? Find out why. Okay. Start like the last hour of an advisor's day should be trying to find out why something is still at the shop, whether it's a part on order, whether it's a long repair that's getting done. Just get an update, keep a notebook. All right. Get a Word document and just make an update. And why is that a good behavior to do? Because that's a good manager skill. That's what general managers start looking for and a trait for somebody to move up. Because I always preach in a situation, you should always have everything laid out. Well, sorry, let me put this in a mechanical standpoint. So, as a mechanic, the way I teach people to tear down an engine is doing it in an organized manner, keeping everything organized in boxes, labeled what side of the engine they came off of. So let's use a Subaru engine, for example. You got a left and a right cylinder head. Well, you got a left and a right cylinder head box. All the stuff from there goes in that box. You got a box for the front, you got a box for the top, and a box for the bottom. Okay. It's called my boxing system. Now they seem aggravated by it because they want to lay everything out on a table. And I'd be like, no, no, no. You take things apart as if you're not going to be there next week because you're in the hospital and that car has to go back together. So you just made it easy for somebody else to pick it up. You're an advisor. You got this beautiful log of communication and staying on track of all your work orders. You call in sick, your customers still have to be updated. So you can tell your GM or your service manager, yo, my blue notebook in the drawer, there's 5 tickets that are highlighted. I need you to update those people. I need you to go to little Timmy on number on that one that's labeled Timmy. I need you to find out why Timmy is still sitting on that ticket. Okay. I checked out him yesterday and he said he was going to have me an update. He didn't get back to me. All right. Shows organization. Really simple. Boss man says, yeah, okay, cool, man. Hope you get better. I'll see you tomorrow. When we don't work together as a team, we don't communicate, we don't give updates, we don't document things correctly. We give each other the cold shoulder because we think one's better than the other. This is what happens. You get a confused customer. And there's no worse scene than a customer popping their hood on the service drive. Okay. They're picking up their car. And what do? They open up their hood because they're confused. They want to see what was done because they don't know where spark plugs are at. They don't know where the oil goes. They just know they brought the car in here and some magic happened and they're missing money in their bank account. If for some reason you are doing the checkout, whether you're the mechanic doing the checkout because you're a small shop or you're the advisor doing the checkout, and you kind of get that idea that the customer is going to pop the hood, if you think they're one of those people, do it for them and just point to them, be like, over here, this is where we change your air filter. We change the spark plugs today. Pull the dipstick out. Be like, it's full of engine oil. They might need that, and they'll never bother you about that again. Okay, but that's it, guys. We kind of kicked some dead horses here, but I really do appreciate everyone staying and listening. We actually had a really good crowd today of 13 people. Let's see if anybody's got anything going in chat because y'all just been having a wonderful conversation with each other today. That's what I like. We got a lot of familiar faces here and everyone knows each other. It's good to see. Let's catch up, see what's going on here. You guys got to talking about something. Okay, we got some congratulations going on. You almost got it. And you were like 2 pixels on the screen from winning that tool, Ray. Uh, when are you going to cover the turbo encabulator? Yeah, could talk about that. You know, I even got to personally meet somebody who actually knows the people on the Chrysler team who made that parody video. Like he owns an original VHS copy from the Chrysler factory. And he showed it to me. And it was a blue VHS tape, said Chrysler on it because they erased an old training video for human resources and they were making copies for each other. And he got one of those. And I was like, that is like the coolest thing in the world. He has like an OG copy. All right. Thank you, Clarence, for sending me that advisor tool. Yeah, you know what? You can leave the you take take the idea with a grain of salt, you know. You can choose to leave the advisor in your toolbox and never hone its skills and maybe they'll fizzle away, or you can hone them into something good. That's we make rough jokes on them, but if there's a will, there's a way. And I always I really I try really really hard if I do have something negative to say to an advisor, make an effort to not do it in front of their peers. Give them that that love because they're in a learning position too. They know that it's demoralizing not to know something in front of a customer. That's just a lot of grief to take, and they can beat themselves up about it a lot. So sometimes just asking like, "Hey, you okay? Notice you struggled today a little bit." Like, go over a couple of things with them, give them some reassurances, let them know you're there. Sometimes showing a little gratitude and a little love towards an advisor, next thing you know, they feed you a ticket. You're like, "Hey, I sold this big gravy on the drive, and I should give it to the fast maintenance guys, but I kind of owe you one. You helped me out." Most of the advisors I have met are like icon tools, overpriced, paid, and always break under pressure. Yeah, I get that perspective. I get it. I get it, but I'm trying to break that mentality of just beating them up because we're not going to get mechanically savvy advisors anymore. About the only thing we're going to get is maybe one or two of them that know how to change your engine oil. So it's kind of like working with what you got. I love being independent. The only person I can blame is the customer. Yeah, that is the good side of being independent. So does that mean you have less respect for Sarah seeing as how I headed to the advisor check? No, no, it's we need advisors. Advisors make me more money. Think about it. If I had to be responsible for checking in a car and giving customers updates, answering customers' questions, I might only be able to work on one or two cars a day. Okay. Because every time I go back to the computer, go back to the front desk, like I got to clean myself up. I'm not going to go out there with the hands all dirty. So, yeah, having working in tandem with somebody up front to field the phone calls, to check somebody in, to take payment, to buy me more time so I could work on a car, to answer frivolous questions, to give somebody some, I don't know, peace of mind that everything's going okay. That's a special skill. All right. Having people skills is an actual skill that not everybody has. All right. For about 20 years, the only people skill I had was how to be an asshole. All right. It took me another 20 years to learn not how to be an asshole. Some people just got that charisma, and some people have to learn it really, really hard. That's why some people can fix cars super easy. They just like, I know how everything works. And some people just don't freaking get it. It's what makes us unique and makes every human special. I think it takes long to rack the car than it does to do a diff change. If you got one of those old chain lifts, yeah. I was in a shop where I think I clocked a lift to raise a car that weighed 3,500 pounds. It took that lift 3.5 minutes to go 6 feet high. And it felt like 30 minutes. And coming down, I swear it took like 10 minutes. It sucked. But fortunately, we my service manager and my general manager, they understood that if we had dedicated service machines that can expedite differential fluid changes by siphoning out fluid and putting in pre-measured fluid, you can shave about 3/4 of the time off. Just like if you want to change out the brake fluid, all right, let's get a brake fluid changer. It's only a few $100. You buy about 5 of them for the shop, and next thing you know, everyone's selling it. The machine paid for itself in a couple of visits. Um, thinking ahead of things like that. Obviously, the next idea is stupid expensive. We spent $20,000 on an alignment inspection machine. It's literally a laser machine that you drive over, and it can tell you the tread depth of all four tires, and it scans the license plate of the vehicle, matches it with the DMV, finds out the VIN of the vehicle, and then it can determine if the toe and the camber and the caster is off on the vehicle. And it just kind of gives like a go no go chart for all four wheels. And right there, the technician can use that and go, oh hey, uh, because they have to print that out with all the work orders to go, oh, maybe I should sell an alignment. Even though this customer has four brand new tires, I can use this as evidence to say, hey, I see you got four brand new tires on here. I checked our history. You didn't get the tires done here. Did they do an alignment? Because did you know doing an alignment after installing four tires can dramatically extend the life of your tires? And I kind of make a plug it in because, tires are really expensive. The last thing you want to do is have to buy four new ones early, which is a true statement. I'm not really bullshitting anything up, but you can have a very small 10, 15-second conversation with somebody and just kind of slip that in their mind and let them know, yeah, you just spent $800 on tires. Did you know for another $100, you can get the maximum life out of them? A lot of people don't know they need alignments because it's a frog in water scenario. You're just used to driving the car a little bit to the right. But yeah, back to the thing about the slow lifts. The next shop I worked in, they had something called jackrabbit lifts. Holy crap, were they amazing! They were really expensive lifts. Okay, they were rotary lifts. They cost $15,000 not installed, and then another $5,000 modification on top of them. They had like six 12-volt AGM batteries stacked on top of each other, and that went on one of the posts, and you could hit it this express button. It would lift a 4-ton truck in 10 seconds. Crazy. And then coming down too, it was just as fast. Just super crazy. Unfortunately, the salesman didn't read the portfolio too well because in between the vehicle going up and coming down, the the express feature of moving it up and coming down fast, it has a 10-minute cycle. So if you're just putting it up really, if you're throwing it up in the air for a really quick inspection, yeah, you're not going to be able to use the jackrabbit feature to bring it back down for at least 10 minutes because it needs time to recharge the batteries and cool the batteries down. So the people who got those to do faster oil changes, that was counterintuitive. Unless the diff plug is seized, mm, and that's why we always say loosen the top one before the bottom one because it's better to find out because you don't want to find out that you can't fill it after you drained it, right? I think everybody's old man taught them that trick. Having no lift, the diff fluid change on my Patriot sucks. Had to get to the fill hole. Yep, there have been some times where I have done some services on the ground. I'm fortunate enough I can have two bays. I got a hot bay and I got a cold bay. So one I'm doing heavy line in, one I'm doing fast maintenance in. Every once in a while, I got to find a way to do an upsell, and I'll just double park behind my two bays. And yeah, I've put a car up on four jack stands, and I've done a service, and I've done it old school. I got one of those Mighty Vac penis pumps, and yep, I fill it up with about 2 quarts of differential fluid, and I'll hot shot that thing in there. And I'm working on the ground on a piece of cardboard. Some days, some days. Shoot, I've done trailer hitches out in the parking lot before. Yes, enrichment for little Billy. Little Billy, little Timmy, little Bobby. Those are my nicknames for the people that just need to learn a little bit more in life. No, please, not being a dork. Like the advisors, I know, but lately I've seen, yeah, yeah. It's it seems like more and more the automotive industry, Canadian diesel, is just become more cutthroat. And I think the cutthroatness is really just coming out with people getting overworked, not paid enough, and they're just burnt out, straight up burnt out. I mean, I was burnt out a couple of years ago. My boss was like, "Hey, you should take some time off, take a vacation." I'm like, "I can't. I'm not making enough hours." Didn't you notice when I asked you to sell 2 days of my vacation? That didn't spark anything. He's like, "Well, I thought you needed the extra money." Extra money? You you write my check. I haven't made a 40-hour week in a month. Little heads up there. No. Then you start getting snippy. You say things you regret. All mechanics are dinks, gumpy, and I hate you until you see snacks. Yeah. A lot of people don't realize that they're saying something off color or how rude they're being because they got low blood sugar. Uh, I'm one of those people. So I gotta keep little Cliff Bars in my fridge, and I have alarms that go off, and I may not even feel hungry, but I'll take a bite of one. You just got to keep your metabolism going because it's anxiety and adrenaline. They can they're appetite suppressants, and you'll starve your body of nutrients. So obviously, I stay away from stuff like snacks like potato chips and pretzels, but I do keep reserves. I gotta keep the positive energy up. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm in a service center where, upsells are half your business. Other shops, they're not in the upsell business. They're in the strict repair business. Customers come in for something and they leave for that one something. And those shops are not wasting time with multi-points and all these bells and whistle services like comfy lounges, uh, loaner vehicles, free rides home, Lyft. No, my shop, we're we're all about the bougie environment for the customer. Big open comfy lounge. They got Starbucks coffee on a vending machine, so people come in, they get all their favorite stuff, snacks, soda machines, all free of charge as part of the experience. And if something can't get done in a timely manner, they put them in a loaner vehicle with a full tank of gas. They get every car, regardless of if they bought something or not, gets a courtesy drive-through car wash that's hand towel dried. So, if you don't want that, you don't go to those places. And that's why my shop is like $180 an hour for labor rate. It's because you're getting all these other amenities. You can go down to Turner's garage, who runs a buy here, pay here dealership. He might charge $70 an hour, but there's no lobby to wait in. He'll call you when it's done. It's a different business environment. I thought about going to one of those shops, but this the work just wasn't consistent enough. I looked them up, and I looked up a couple of the shops that I was interviewing at, and I was like, yeah, they got some weird fluctuations in traffic. And all the Google reviews were like 5 stars, great place. But it's just when the work came in, the work came in. And when the work didn't come in, well, the work didn't come in. So yeah, I mean, it gets boring cutting brakes and doing tune-ups for a living, but when something clever comes in, it's fun to do. Coffee and snacks and the key to the mechanic's heart. Yeah. And we get to snipe all that coffee and soda and those snacks for ourselves. Yeah, I think one of the other amenities that we have too is we free key fob batteries. If you just need a key fob battery for any vehicle, walk to the parts department. You get a free coin cell. They'll pop out the old one, they'll put in the new one. As long as you patiently wait. Of course, if that parts guy asked me how to open up another Ford key fob, he's gonna have to buy me lunch. And the funnier part is, I think he's on his third iteration of the key fob not working after replacing the battery because some of those Ford key fobs take two coin cells. You take two out, you must put two back in. All right, so we're coming up on 10 o'clock. We're gonna go to the bottom, as JT says. See what's going on. I ain't gonna lie. Convinced my local shop to hand wash my car once for free. I've been extremely busy and didn't have time to detail it. Sadly, pollen season was in bloom. Oh, that's here in Texas. Every day my car's covered in pollen like it's been sitting outside for a month. That is also one of the nicer things that I like about working at my service shop is I got a free drive-through car wash. Every day after work, I drive my car through it. Take care. I'm wrapping up too. What is it? Yeah, nah, my AHO piss fix the problem. If they don't know Diag, if they don't know Diag it and fix it, my appointments only. Okay, I think I got some sense on that one. Yeah. It's done when it's done. And if you don't have an appointment, go away. Yeah. There's shops like that and they work well. You know, they're a specialized center and they got plenty of business racked up. I know one guy who's got mobile diagnostics. He's booked at any given time, 2 weeks out, all the time, all the time. And if you want him right now, he'll charge you $150 on top of his regular hourly rate, which is now time and a half. And people pay it because he's really good at what he does. And he mostly just does keys and programming. But yeah, because he's a really good diagnostician. He can figure stuff out fast. He'll get calls from dealerships and they'll say, like, I just sold this car. I need you here now. And he'll say, well, there's $100 charge to drop what I'm doing and go. And my labor rate's going from $100 an hour to 150. And he says, and it's 1 hour up front. Yeah, I'll pay it. Get here. Cool. I'll be right there. You can make $250 just pretty much for answering a phone call. And then he shows up and it's usually something stupid like there's a fuse missing. But folks, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Thank you for participating in the chat. We had a lot of good discussions and I could definitely tell we have a couple of advisors in here. We got a lot of mechanics in here and maybe one or two customers. So y'all were a really good audience. This was a lot of fun. If you have any more ideas for a show, please feel free. You can email me, and I'd be happy to put together a conversation talking point and go over some pros and cons. All right. There's good things to everything. Have a good night to you too, sir. And yes, everyone, you're awesome people.